What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Motorfest. So as y'all know, the Hoonigan update did indeed release yesterday, bringing us all kinds of new stuff to do, even like a new part of the map to mess around with. But of course with that, we also got a lot of patch notes and a lot of new things that were fixed, and of course addressed. So in this video, I will be going over all of them. Also, there is going to be a few things that were changed in the game that I do have a feeling is not going to go well with many players, including myself at the moment. Do stay tuned for that video in the coming days, but right now, guys, jumping into the patch notes. So the first thing is going to be the vehicles. The Crew 2 Season 9 vehicles and vanity content are now available on Motorfest. Fix some bugs in the displaying vanity section. Gold and violet window tints are now correctly displayed in the vehicle customization menu. Then we have the fixed Lamborghini Terzo tire rendering. I personally have not noticed this, but then again, I haven't really driven that car that much, so that's probably going to be the reason why there. Manual shift gear animation is no longer present in the Bugatti Noir. I know I did not pronounce that correctly, but that's obviously the insane looking Bugatti that was like $20 million. I also did not notice that with that thing either. The Porsche 911 GT exhausts no longer have a pink outline. And then the next one is going to be gear shifting animation is no longer missing when shifting up for the Chevrolet Impala Sport Sedan. And then for the next one is going to be fix the driving animation on the digital dashboard while in the interior view for the Koenigsegg Regera and the Maserati MC12. The next one, guys, scale, freescale, skew, and transparency options are now going to be functional in the livery editor. Livery tags are no longer grayed out in the filters of the livery menu. And then finally, the last one for the vehicles up here is going to be the fix several issues with the livery shapes. The next one, though, is going to be for the main stage. The first one, Motorfest Legend Stars are now showing in the correct spot. The second one, fixed a bug where the wrong information is displayed on the Walk of Fame. I would say that was probably most likely an issue. To be honest, though, I haven't spent that much time in the main stage because I have been like leveling cars and like doing a lot of races, but at least many of the well-known issues are indeed going to be fixed after this update. And then, of course, moving over to the next one is the playlist. So the first one, guys, fix the inconsistency between the description and steps to complete for several challenges. That was most likely definitely an issue, I would say. And then for the next fix, guys, I really do think is definitely going to be a long time coming. Retro Top Driver Challenge now unlocks after completing the requirement at the Grand Race. So this challenge was obviously broken before. So at least now if you are going after the Retro Top Driver, you can now actually complete this without having to get first place, which I would say is definitely going to be a win in itself. The next one, though, fix the AL Night Menace challenge to unlock after satisfying all of the mentioned conditions. This was actually one of those challenges that you would most likely go in there and do everything it asked for, and somehow you would still never get that challenge done, so at least this is also going to be fixed. The next one, Alpha Retro Racer. This one is now going to unlock even after changing the visual parts on that specified vehicle. And for the Alpha Retro Racer, I do indeed remember doing this challenge back in the day when doing that said playlist video. And I do definitely remember this being an issue, so hopefully that is indeed going to be fixed now. So if you guys did have an issue before, definitely try to do this one again. And then moving over to the next one, the Alpha Bully. That challenge is now going to unlock after fulfilling the given conditions. Similar to the other challenge where you would basically do everything it asks for, and somehow that thing obviously doesn't work. I would say many of these challenges have definitely frustrated many people. And then the Retro Expert Challenge now unlocks after filling the given conditions as well, similar to the Alpha Bully. So obviously if this one wasn't working before, I would definitely recommend trying this one again. And then for the next one, the Act 7 24 Hours of Hananuma event now has a dynamic weather change. I would probably say because this event is obviously 7 to 8 minutes long, and you are most likely racing around that said track, so I do think this might actually be a pretty positive change to it. And then for the last one in the playlist category is going to be fix several bugs concerning the feats, which I would say has most likely been an issue for many of them, almost since the release. And then for the next category is going to be the Grand Race and the Demolition Royale. The first one, guys, fix micro freezing in the Grand Race and the Demolition Royale. So that is obviously going to be a big win because I would almost guess that was definitely going to be a big issue before. The next one, improve fast fave animation when spectating. Now, I'm not 100% sure what some of this stuff means because I haven't played PvP that much, but I would say many of these things probably were definitely needed. The next one, fix rare issue where player appeared on the minimap as a crewmate even if they were not. Again, I have not experienced that one, but... And then for the next one, fix the replication glitches occurring in some spectating contexts. The one after that, guys, AFK players will not receive rewards anymore. I would say that's probably going to be a huge one because I would not doubt that being an issue. A lot of games that obviously have open online lobbies do tend to suffer from something with AFK players, so that is probably going to be a pretty nice fix. And then the last one, guys, we've added 11 new combination of pass in the Grand Race. These will also feature different vehicle types, so I would say this is obviously going to be a pretty big win, especially for many of the people who most likely do play the PvP often. Now there is going to be different pass in the Grand Race, of course adding on to the things you can do. And then for the next category, guys, is going to be with the custom show. The first one is going to be improve the moderation rules of the livery reporting. After that, we have the added confirmation pop-up when reporting a livery from the livery menu. And then after that, guys, we have the fixed livery editor issues on several vehicles. I would say that was probably insanely frustrating, but after that, we also have the winning vehicle in the custom show leaderboard is now correctly displayed. I do feel like things like that are most likely going to differ some players from even being in the custom show, so having some fixes like this are probably going to bring more people in. And then the last one is going to be other players' liveries cannot be used to register a vehicle in the custom show anymore. And then moving over to the next category of fixes and changes is going to be with the photo mode. The first one, guys, fix several photo quest completion requirements. The next one, fix the time of day and weather options when using the environment keyframe. After that, we have the frames now changed to default after pressing set to default option in photo mode. So I would say who actually knew that using set to default did indeed bring you back to default. After that, we have the vehicle damage and mud on vehicle is now removed correctly when the setting is also set to 0, which I do have to admit, by the way, I don't think I have ever had any issues with this before, but then again, it most likely was maybe like an isolated incident. And then moving over to the next one, guys, and even the last one, fix the broken speedometer after using the replay feature in the photo mode in free drive. I can definitely see that being an issue because the replay feature is honestly kind of odd, and sometimes some of these things obviously do bug out. And then moving over to the next category of fixes and also some changes is in balancing. The first one, XP earned via Summit and Custom Show after the end of the month, now properly registers to the current main stage XP. So at least the XP you actually earn now is indeed going to show up properly, at least compared to before. The next one though, guys, players can no longer earn rewards by being idle at the starting grid with minimal inputs in a grand race. This obviously has to go back to the other thing that was indeed fixed with being AFK, so that is probably going to be insanely helpful with a grand race. That way, if you actually want something, you obviously have to race, and you can't just sit there for like 10 minutes and then get stuff. And then for the next one, ground vehicles no longer achieve extreme high speed when free falling. I personally don't know what this actually means because I wasn't obviously jumping insanely high up, or maybe there was like some type of like speed glitch where you could like fall from the sky or something, but do let me know in the comments below, guys, what this actually fixed. And the last one though, guys, on balancing is going to be the affixes that bended is no longer available for the incompatible vehicles. I would say this is obviously going to be useful, that way you don't actually have to get that. And then for the last one here in balancing is going to be the affixed stat bended is no longer available for the incompatible vehicle, so I would say that's obviously useful. I mean, for one, guys, you obviously cannot throw on bended to a car, because, well, a car doesn't lean unless it's maybe a pickup truck, but even then, bended is obviously going to be a useless perk to have, especially in the pool for the vehicles. And then moving over to the next category is going to be performance. The first one though, guys, general rendering performances and stability improvements. I would say that's obviously always going to be useful, especially in a racing game. And then for the next one though, improve the stability for creating crews and inviting crew members. I would like to know, by the way, guys, in the comments below if a lot of the crew member issues are fixed. I really do hope this update actually got rid of many of those issues. That way many players can actually play together. The next one though is going to be for PC only. Update the auto detect values for minimum and recommended requirement systems. And then scrapping many vehicle parts successfully no longer triggers a server error. By the way, I actually had this pretty often in different classes like the planes and also the powerboats. I would basically try to go after different affixed stats and then, well, obviously the game would then crash, so that's going to be a very positive fix. The next one though is also going to be for only Xbox. Title no longer crashes after using the rewind at 24% of the final event race. So obviously if you guys are on Xbox, you most likely did have this issue. And I would say from the looks of this, it was most likely only tied to that race, at least hopefully. And then moving over to the audio fixes now, guys, starting off with the first one, improve the timing and trigger of the Kara voiceover. After that, we have the added options to turn off the Kara voiceover. For the next one though, guys, we also have the voiceover fixes timing, trigger, and the robotic voices now removed. I would say that's obviously going to be a win in basically every way. And of course, we also do not have to listen to Kara. After that though, guys, we have the following vehicle sounds are indeed going to be improved. The first one's going to be the McLaren F1. Then we have the Pagani Zonda F and the R. After that, we have the Lamborghini Murcielago LP640 in the Street and the Drift class. Then we have the Koenigsegg Jesko. Then we have the Lamborghini RGT. Then after that, we have the Koenigsegg 1. That does say higher redline. The final vehicle is going to be the Koenigsegg Regera with the exhaust stamp modified. And of course, we also got some new music tracks as well, which I will indeed show on the screen if you are interested. And then of course, we also got a fix to the track called the Blondie Call Me, is now going to be displayed correctly in the Goldie's track list. Now moving over to the world category, the first one is going to be added an option to turn off the replayer cars, aka guys the traffic ghost cars that obviously annoy everyone. Now if you guys do want to keep this on, you obviously can, but at least there is now going to be an option to actually have the ghost cars off, which I would say many players have been requesting almost since this game has come out. The next one though is going to be the navigation ribbon is now updated with a smoother display and prevented from being frequently recomputed when in a plane. I'm not 100% sure what this issue was, but I definitely can see this being a problem for many people. And then for the next one though is going to be for rewind. Camera no longer clips with the ground and slopes during a rewind. I personally have not really seen this that often, but I can definitely see that being an issue, especially when doing the rewind feature. The next one though, guys, other HUD elements are now hidden during rewind. That is obviously going to be pretty useful. The last one though is going to be the racing line no longer gets doubled when using rewind in the stock around the clock event. I personally haven't noticed this either because I never actually use the racing line, but seeing two of those would honestly get really frustrating, especially around a small track like that in basically any event. For the next one though is going to be for the avatar category. The first one, fix multiple outfit parts that were clipping with the player's body. The next one, avatar clothes / animations no longer fail to equip after buying and changing the tabs from the profile to any other tabs in the main menu. That would honestly get insanely annoying, but the next one, fix an occasional twitching animation on the driver's body while turning on a motorcycle. This I actually did see pretty often, even with the NPC racers in different events. I really did question what I was actually looking at, so hopefully all of those are going to be a bit better. The next one, in the car meet, quick turn animation is now smoother when quickly switching left and right with the controller, so that is probably going to be a pretty nice feature when being in the car meet. The next one though, guys, Avatar's body no longer goes missing when the player returns to free drive after completing an event when the camera is set to cockpit view. I also have not noticed this either, but I have been using the cockpit view often, and I would say this can definitely be annoying seeing your character, be gone. After that though, we have the fixed occurrences where the avatar would be invisible during the fast fade animation. For the next one though is going to be for the achievements category. So the first one, updated achievements / trophies descriptions, which were missing the in-same session mention. After that, we have the fixed a misleading icon for the Oahu sites, achievement / trophy. And then for the next two is going to be only for the Xbox. The first one, progression bar of the main stage headliner achievement, is now updating after completing a timeline on the Motorfest main stage. The next one, progression bar on the That'll Buff It Right Out achievement, is now updating after destroying a vehicle in Demolition Royale. So at least some of the achievement issues are being fixed, especially for those who were actually on Xbox, that seem to be having more issues than those on PlayStation. And then for the next one is going to be for the Peripherals. The first one, fix Nitro button that does not work as intended on the Thrustmaster T128. And then for the next one, fix force feedback missing after several hot plug-in free ride on the Club Sport CSL Base V2.5. Then we have the wrong key mapping and force feedback fixes on the Logitech Racing Pro on Xbox. Then we have added support of the Horror Racing Wheel Apex PC, PS4, and PS5, and the Horror Racing Wheel Overdrive Xbox Series, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series once again. Then we have the improved wheel support and behavior consistency. We also have added beta implementation of the OWO haptic gaming system. And then for the next one, we have the support of Horror Racing Wheel Apex PC, PS4, and PS5. We have the Horror Racing Wheel Overdrive Xbox Series, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and we have the Horror FFB Racing Wheel DLX for the Xbox Series and Xbox One. Then we have the support of the Sim Experience AccuForce Pro V2 steering system, which is of course on PC. Then we have the support of the Sim Experience wireless wheel button box, also on PC once again. The final one, guys, fix lag when some steering wheels are plugged in. And then moving over to the next one, we now have the menu and the UI. The first one, added filter feature to the map. I was honestly waiting for this to be added. The next one, players can now switch all vehicle parts from one vehicle to another in the same category, so it's going to be exactly like the Crew 2 before. So all you will then have to do is basically hover over that vehicle set that you actually want to transfer, click that button, then move over to the next one, and it's going to be that simple. For the next one, vehicle upgrade menu now selects the equip part by default. After that, we have the fixed issue where players were redirected to the wrong bundle when selecting buy in car meet. The next one's going to be for PC only, improved mouse management in several interfaces. After that, we have the added missing sound on several interfaces as well. Then we have improved the reward screen for legibility. Then we have now we can display player levels on tags in free ride and in car meet instead of the M icon. This is obviously going to be a pretty nice feature, but give it some time, guys, until you start seeing level 3000s in basically 3 days. After that, we have the fix the options menu where the buttons do not turn dark to light when applying the option. And then moving over to the last two, we have add several missing translations, and then fix the text overlap and misalignment in Arabic. And then for the next one is going to be for the accessibility category. The first one though, text size update fixes, color modification for colorblind, and changes to the hold/press feature. I'm also going to touch more on this in a video in the next few days. I understand how they actually did change this, but I have to admit, guys, I do feel like in certain ways they definitely did not do this correctly. Do stay tuned for that video coming in the next few days, but the next one added colorblind options to the racing lines, and then the final one added stunt assist options. So that will basically do it for all of the patch notes here in the Season 2 update. I would say, guys, many of them are definitely going to be positive, and I really do think most of them are obviously needed pretty much now more than ever. I do have to admit, though, some of these changes, like the press feature, definitely kind of annoys me, but again, guys, I will touch more on that here in another video coming up in the next few days. But if you guys have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below, and I would say this patch so far is honestly pretty positive.